Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Should I give you a couple more seconds?
Good afternoon.
I was just saying, thought I'd give you a couple more seconds so we can get yourself all squared away. Well, let me see this here. Kelvin Peace Bullock.
I'm in the building.
You're in the building, my friend.
I'm in the building.
You're in the building. And listen, hey guys, for everybody that's watching tonight and listening tonight, we want you to know we're doing a double thing going. Actually, we're doing a triple. We've got a triple
thing going.
Got a triple threat going on tonight, right?
Triple threat.
Hey, listen, for those of you who might be watching, know this. We're on Facebook Live on Bill Morgan's page. Mm-hmm. We're on Facebook Live on Kelvin Peace Bullock's page. Or should I say one-on-one?
Yeah.
It's on one-on-one, right?
It'll be on one-on-one.
It will be, but right now it's going up on Kelby, on Kelby's Facebook page.
Yes.
And we're actually streaming live, guys, on freeconferencecall.com. I'm telling you.
Triple threat.
Hey, listen, doing it. For those of you who are watching and cannot, or should I say, and for those of you that know who can't watch,
yes,
have them call. Listen, here is the number, folks. That's 712-770-4160. Again, that's 712-770-4162. And the code to get in is 240738. Again, 240738. And you'll be able to get us right here on Facebook Live with myself and Kelvin Peace Bullock.
Yes,
hey, brother, glad to see you again.
I know it's been a while.
Hey, listen, you know what he said? He said it's been a while. Let me tell you something.
It has been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a whole 7 days. No, it's actually been really 2 weeks. But the reality is, now, hey guys, whoa, check this out. He's an old married dude now. How? My man, go Kelvin, go Kelvin. Hey, you know what? I should not be having this much fun, but I'm going to tell you something. You know what? It's a tremendous thing to have my buddy sitting right here next to me. You know what? It's at that time of my life I can say, shoot, boy, take it and roll.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know, to me, it's a great thing to have someone to be able to step into the shoes and do what God is asking us to do.
Yeah.
And that's do what? Spread the gospel. Spread the word of a loving Savior. Folk, know this. We're at a time in the Earth's history. I was doing some reading, actually watching some things today on Facebook and some other news channels. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you something. America is in a mess.
Really?
America is in a mess. Folk, if you've got... Look, my whole thing is I'm not going to say anything that wants to frighten anybody, but I want to tell you something. Look, let me say this here. Get your seeds ready. Because we have no idea whether... Listen, I'm going to stop. Because you know what? You know, Kelby and some of the other folk, everyone thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist. But you know what? I've got to the point where I never said you said.
I don't know if I would call you a conspiracy theorist.
But you know what it is? I'm the kind of a person that just sort of puts it out there. Mm-hmm. And here's the reality. There are things that I know. I don't know everything, but there's some things that I've had access to. So my thing is to be able to share a few things with folk so that they get an opportunity to do what? Check to see for themselves.
Of course.
As I always say, if I were you, I wouldn't trust me.
Don't trust him. Don't
trust me? Why? Because the reality is that it is what it is. And I'm going to tell you something. It gets there. Brother Al, let me tell you something. Down all the way down there in Alabama is with us today. Al, you know what, Al? I want you to know it's a great thing to have you, man. Listen, let anybody else know that you're around it, that we're here trying to do what God has asked us to do.
Yeah,
Spread the word, because you know what? When I think about our illustrious leader in the country of America right now, mm-hmm, and some of the things that have come out of his mouth. Now, wait, folks. This is not a political arena, but I'm just taking a look at reality and where we are today.
Okay.
And I'm telling you something. As a Christian, okay, you know, and I say that openly because you see, some people think that Christians should not get involved in stuff.
Okay.
There are a lot of folks that are like that, Kelvin, who believe that we should not get involved. Now, let me say this. I think there's some parts of politics that we should not be involved.
Of course.
Okay? Because the Bible talks about that, you know. As a matter of fact, there's a phrase that uses it causes apostate Protestantism. Okay? Yeah. We're talking about pastors who get involved in stuff that they should not be involved in. Mm-hmm. You know, again, not just, you know, doing stuff, but there is a reality that there are some places we don't need to be. Okay?
That's true. There's some things that we just don't need to necessarily talk about.
And well, that's true. But let me say this to you. There was something just today. I was looking at our leader, as I heard, with this whole idea. As a matter of fact, it was picked up by I think the lady's name is Angela Merkel, who is the German chancellor or something like that, I believe. And what she was talking about the whole. As a matter of fact, she was giving her speech in front of a replica of the Berlin Wall. Get my point?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And now our leaders talking about doing what? Building walls. They had to go through God knows how many years to tear down walls. And
now
then
you wanna build up one.
And not only build up one, then you have those who do what? There are those who have jumped on board, and the way I see it, this is just me now.
Okay.
There are people who are just jumping on board just so they can be on board.
True.
And not recognize. Oh, wait now. Something else comes into play. And it just sort of hit me, so forgive me if I digress for a moment. The whole idea of him, his businesses. As a matter of fact, I believe that there was a phrase that was used, and I can't remember what it was right away, but I'll get it. Where his business are so convoluted within what he's doing and what he was doing beforehand, that somewhere on the line, you watch now, there may be a possibility that we may end up having to deal with our Constitution in order to get some of that stuff taken out or back. Folk, I'm going to tell you something. It ain't going to be pretty when it all finally happens. It's not going to be pretty at all. And when I think about it, it makes me realize that, you know what? We have some serious stuff going on here. And when you remember that, what was it, yesterday, I believe it was, where there was an issue that came up where, they were talking about the bomb that happened over at that exploded at the music fest, right? And
Ariana Grande in Manchester.
Exactly. And somewhere along the line, our leader was talking about it and giving this, and then there were leaks coming from everywhere. And now Britain began to pull back and said, can we trust these people? Now, of course, our head of the State Department immediately got on a plane to go over. And my understanding is that now Britain has pulled back. But you know what? When that happens to me, that says I'm not quite sure if I can trust you now. Now you think about that. I'm not sure if I can trust you now. So the reality is it something that I can or cannot do? Hey, Darren, we want you to know we're glad you're here, my friend. And I want you to know that things are happening. Yeah. Things are happening around the world. Go ahead.
Things are happening faster than you can even comprehend it. It's almost like it's slapped in your face, and then once you get used to that feeling, it's almost like you get another slap on the other side of the cheek. So it's almost like, oh, wait. Things are happening so fast and so rapidly,
right?
And the Bible says that these things will come to pass anyway.
Yes.
I believe that even with the bomb that was in Manchester, and even all the leaks that's going out, it's almost like Watergate on steroids.
Yes. Amen.
These things have to happen. That's the best and the worst part of it all.
Yes.
It's the things that have to happen. So these are the procedures, or I would say, this is what prophecy says. All these things must come to pass. And then after these things come to pass, that's when the Son of Man will come back. So that's the great thing about this. But this is all, these should be talks within the family. Family should be having these types of conversations.
Look, buddy, I was getting ready. You jumped dead into my head. That's exactly where I was going.
I'm so used to Uncle Bill. I know how to segue into something.
That's exactly where I was going. Go ahead, finish your thought.
So what I'm saying is, tonight's grand topic is called family business. So when we talk about family business, we're talking about, my mom always said, everything that happens in the household stays within the household. And then, whatever happens outside, you can bring it inside, but then it has to go back out because sometimes it's not good.
Yes,
so
I agree with that.
Within the household.
I agree with that.
So don't bring drama in, but take drama out, which
okay, but what do you do about some of those snakes in the house? Oh, Jesus.
What do you do with
about the snakes in the house?
The snakes in the house? Well, it's sad because sometimes Sometimes the snakes is your parents. Sometimes the snakes is the children. You know, we have serpent. It doesn't matter where you are. The serpent can be the TV. The serpent can be the internet. The serpent can be anything you.
Okay.
Anything.
Okay.
But I think anything that has a revolving door.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right, I like that.
Anything that has a revolving door.
Okay.
The door itself could be a serpent. A
okay.
gateway. So that's why I said the sin is not okay. Now I'm digressing.
That's all right.
Sin isn't sin.
Yes.
The things that we do that we call sin are not a sin. It's like, for instance,
right.
You could listen to hip hop and R&B.
Right.
You can listen to rock and roll. You can listen to pop. You can listen to all that. That's not a sin.
Right.
It's not a sin.
Right.
But you cannot regard it as something that you can listen to every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because after every repeat and every replay, it's just if you do once you do the lyrics, you cannot deny that it draws you away.
You know what? Interesting that you should say that, because you know what? As a matter of fact, one of our comments is that charity actually, it begins at home. Okay, and then it travels abroad.
Of course.
Okay, so now when you going to your point, lyrics. We don't realize how important lyrics are and how they affect us. There is something about our brain that's really kind of deep. Can I say this very gingerly, but at the same time kind of elementary? Our brain is like a bucket.
Of course.
Our brain holds everything that, guess what? Our brain holds everything that we hear, we see, we smell, we touch. It's in there.
Our brain retains so much, and you don't even know it.
You know what? Let me say this to you. Going back to, 2009. Now, I'm going there for a reason. Because that's really the era when we flipped the switch in the world from analog to digital.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, even before that time, there were things that was happening to us. I can, listen, hear me, Kelby. I can now safely say to you that if I suspend you off of the ground for a month and a half, okay, and I feed you, but you don't get any movement, you just lie there and watch TV. I can safely say to you that when the time is spent and I take you off, you will be barely able to walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, why?
Well, the way I think about it is that when you're up in the air so long, it's almost like I'm not a physician. I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
So here's what I think.
Okay.
Something happens to your legs to where you're suspended for so long.
Okay.
That after a while, the proteins for your legs, it's almost useless. It's almost useless.
I'll go there.
So then when you drop down, it's almost like your legs don't know how to act.
How about this term? Your leg gets to the point where it begins to almost atrophy. Okay, in other words, to stiffen up. Okay.
Vocab word of the day.
Atrophy. And the reason why I bring it up is because think about it. You have the astronauts that go up and they're up on the space station. My friend, they have to exercise every day. Okay. Why? Because when I do this, Kelby, you do what? You feel that, don't you? But Kelby, what allows me to do that? For me to reach for those of you who are online on the call as opposed to being on Facebook, I'm actually touching. Let me describe it. I'm touching Kelby on his shoulder. Now, in order for me to do that, Kelby, I've got to do what? I've got to think, to raise my arm, reach out, and I've got to flex my fingers, and then decide while doing all this to where to touch you. Guess what, Kelby? All of that is what? It's all burnished and pushed up by the electricity that is inside of me. And guess what? If I am not touching this earth, those things are almost impossible, except that if you suspend it and I get exercise every day, and the kinetic part of me does what? It still keeps my functions going.
It keeps you going.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is why it's important we go back and we look at the simplistic terms, and we say, well, from dust we came, to dust thou shalt return. My friend, guess what? Guess what, Kelby? The reality is that if I just lay there, I can become atrophied. Because, the proteins, as you said, build up. And we're not getting all of a lot of the nutrients that we need to keep us going. And if our mind just becomes kind kind of bland, there are a lot of things that just don't stay. Okay? Or should I say it stays, but we are not active. So, let me go real quick. I don't want to get too far. That just kind of came to me. Okay. Our scripture for today. All right, now, folks, make sure that you write this down so that you have it for later on. Okay, and that is 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. And again, our topic today is family business. Okay, family business. And our scripture for the day is 1 Timothy 5, verse 8. Now, we, of course, we do kind of a comparative analysis where I share, Kelby always, he always surprises me each week before we go on the air to find out exactly what it is, we're going to be talking about. So that I got to, in the throes of the whole thing, get my head together, decide let me tell you something. I stopped trying to decide. I have to let the Lord decide what's going to come out of my mouth here. But anyway, here we go. 1 Timothy 5, verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel. Now listen to that again, one more time. And if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel. All right, now that's the King James Version. Now, Kelby's gonna share from the Message Bible. Oh, listen, guys, let me tell you something. I got tired of him flicking stuff on me. I went and bought my own Message Bible so I can make sure he's saying the right thing. That's smart? Okay.
That's smart.
All right, Kelvin.
All right, so it goes from verse 3 to verse 8.
Okay.
And it says, take care of widows who are destitute. If a widow has family members to take care of her, let them learn that religion begins at their own doorstep, and that they should pay back with gratitude some of what they have received. This pleases God immensely. You can tell a legitimate widow by the way she has put all her hope in God, praying to Him constantly for the needs of others as well as her own. But a widow who exploits people's emotions in pocketbooks, well, there's nothing to her. Tell these things to the people so that they will do the right thing in their extended family. Anyone who neglects to take care for family members in need repudiates the faith. That's worse than refusing to believe in the first place.
Okay. All right now. Why this topic?
Why this topic?
Yes.
That's a good question, Uncle Bill.
Okay. All right.
So I was thinking. I was thinking of different topics that was in my head, and I said, and, I went to the business meeting and stuff like that, and a lot of it got me thinking, you know what, there's families that don't have certain conversations.
Yes.
And there are church families that don't have certain conversations. There are a multitude of people that miss out on these types of conversations. So I said that, you know what, anyone that neglects these types of conversations, I don't know what to call them. So I went to the Bible. I said, what are some scriptures on the family? And I looked at some of them, and most of them said, children, obey your mother and father, for your days will be long. These were natural verses that we've always heard about.
Right.
But this is a verse that I've never seen. First of all, it's 1 Timothy.
Right.
You don't really get to hear about 1 Timothy at all.
That's true. I agree.
Chapter 5, verse 8, and it talks about the family and how, anybody that neglects or refuses their own family or doesn't take care of family is worse than somebody who that doesn't believe. So that's almost like, wait a minute. So a family member that doesn't take care of somebody in need in their own family is worse than a person that doesn't even believe in God. So they're worse than a person that's not an atheist? Like, that's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
And it's funny that some of your family members might be in the church, but yet they don't take care of their own family. So therefore, they're even worse than the people out there on the street.
Okay, now let me ask you this. That's an interesting take on that. What about those family members who have had the same access that you have, and by whatever reason have chosen now to step out the door and don't want to be a part of the family? Is it now my responsibility to go after, I won't say go after, but to at least, maybe so, go after them to allow them to to first of all, to come back and maybe explain why they decided to go out. You get my point?
Well, here's what I say. I would say it's not somebody's responsibility.
Okay.
Because, everybody's grown.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you're grown to, quote unquote, leave the family, then that was your decision.
Right.
And I don't think it's anybody's responsibility to do that. Mm-hmm. But I would say it's the reason why I separate duty from responsibility.
Okay.
So responsibility is something that you do. Mm-hmm. That's something that you take ownership of. Okay. Like, for certain reasons, like, I have a car.
Right.
My responsibility is to, keep it clean. No. I would say my responsibility is to pay the car note.
Right. Exactly.
And to pay the insurance. That's my responsibility.
Right.
My duty is washing the car. Mm-hmm. Keeping it clean. That's something that I just do. Right. That's something that I want to do. A responsibility is something that you have to do. A duty is something that you want to do. Right. Okay. So it'd be better for somebody in the family to do something like that, to reach out to that person that left the family and say, hey, I know you left, but can you really explain to me why? Like, what happened? What really happened to make you leave? Is it something that happened in the past? Is it something that we can talk about? Is it something that we can do? So don't make it your responsibility. Make it your duty. Then, as they kind of come back, then you can gradually make it their responsibility to open up. And that's exactly where my thought was going. Man, you talking about right here. That's exactly where my thought was, because you see, it's not. Listen, you know what? We're all good at taking this and beating people to death with it. Thus saith the Lord. But dude, hey, look. First of all, when I was in there, I wasn't paying much attention. No how. Come on now, let's just go there. It's true.
Let's just go.
It's true.
Look, I'm there. Why? Because you made me go.
That's a lot of young in the church.
Hey, that's why I'm having this conversation with you, because you see, right now I see a lot of my young people who have gone that. Hey, Kelby, look, dude, I'm 23 years old. Glory, hallelujah. No such thing. Kelby, I went through the very same thing. Now listen, I'm going to make a confession here. When I was about that age, I absolutely wrote a letter to my pastor at the time. I absolutely wrote a letter to my pastor and told him to put me out. Brother Maurice, I said, listen, you know what? All I can see from what I have been around. No, look, wait now. My dad is a preacher. I'm living in the house with his friend. My mother is doing all that ministers' wives do. Okay, and forgive me for saying that. I sometimes some of our pastors' wives don't do today, but that's none of my business. Okay, but there's a reality. But yet and still, Dad was going. You see, back in the day, those preachers had 3 and 4 churches. They had a circuit they had to run.
You had to run a circuit.
You had to run a circuit back in those days. And I was the sheep in the family. The white sheep in the family. Glory, hallelujah.
Oh, you were the white sheep.
I was the white sheep in the family. And in doing so, I was not like my older brother and my younger sister. Of course, we were, close to each other, but my younger sister, I'm the middle child, one that nobody loved. Shut up. That was my thought at the time. You get my point? Yeah. And as we go through these things, we have all those kinds of emotions. And you have those kind of emotions, friend. Well, you know what it does? It cripples you. You know what I'm saying? It absolutely cripples you. My thing was, I'm saying, and he wanted to know why. So you know what? All I can see is that you guys are trying to tell me what I should not do, but you're not telling me anything that I should do, that I could do. Okay? I had aspirations, but now wait a minute. For a young man of my color to come along with aspirations at that time in my life in the 50s, dude, I couldn't even think about it. But they were still there.
They were still there.
And I'm hanging out with my boys, and I say my boys, because you see, listen, as I was coming along, I had coaches, right? My coaches told me smoking, drinking, and women were bad for you. They didn't say in what order. They just said they were bad for you, leave them alone. So I chose, look, up until I got into the quote-unquote army, I don't know that I had a girlfriend. I had a lot of friends, but I don't remember ever having a girlfriend. Okay?
I see your point.
You understand my point? A lot of friends that I just hung out with, we were at church, we went out to this place, that place, but I don't remember having a girlfriend. Okay? That's just me. here I am with all of this stuff, and then I'm hearing all these things that my parents tell me that I should do. But Kelby, listen, you know, I sit here, I'm Sabbath, and I listen to my daddy preach in the early days. And you know what? While he's preaching, I want to be a part at the park playing ball. Now let's just go there. Dude, I was listening.
There's a lot of days where I didn't want to
Kelby,
be in church.
Kelby,
I want to play ball,
Kelby, my friend.
video games.
Kelby, my friend. Here comes my confession number 2. Dude, I remember, and when we were in Albany, Georgia, my dad was pastoring. We were on the church was on Mercer Street. Okay. Kelby, my dad was preaching. Dude, I climbed out the window, went and played ball, came back. I was sweating like a big dog. Climbed back in the window. Hey, brother, my pop was so cool. My dad was so cool. He knew, you know, he could hear me coming in. Kelvin, my dad, paused the sermon, came outside, whipped my humps, went back in and he didn't miss a click.
Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about
but
right.
My daddy did not miss a click. But you know what? And I'm the only one that got that. Nobody else, my brother didn't get that. My sister didn't get that. But what I didn't recognize was what? Those are my actions that caused that.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of deserve that one.
See, dude, that's just the beginning. We never go into all the rest of it, but that was just kind of like the beginning. But then I recognize, I see some of the things right now in some of our young people who have the same desires today. And all people are saying, well, they do this and do this, but no one is actually showing you the brightness of this scripture that allows you to do some of these things, while at the same time, when you know where the edge is, you know where not to go. And wait, and that not to go is decided by not me, but by you.
Of course. So I would say, shout out to my cousin, Pastor Eric Jarman.
Okay.
He says this, and I'll say it again. We're so good to teach rules and regulations.
Okay.
Rules and regulations, the do's and the don'ts. But when you think about that, we're so good at that we never say, you know, okay, here's what you can do.
Right.
But we're so busy telling you what you can't do and what you shouldn't do that you don't even see the light in what you can do.
I agree with that.
So when you create these rules and regulations, you create rebellion.
Yes.
Now, rebellion is something that you rebel. I mean, even if you're a teenager, you're a natural rebeller. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how much of a saint you are. It's just the way that it is.
Right.
So you create rebellion. Now, with rebellion, you create rejection. So now, not only do I reject those rules and regulations, I now reject you personally. Because now I see you as a person that never wants me to see my dreams come into fruition. So now, rules and regulations creates rebellion, creates rejection.
But now, don't we have to have rules and regulations?
Yes, you have to have rules and regulations. So what I'm saying is, when you have rules and regulations, here's what I'm saying. Yes, tell them what you can't do. We're always told what you can't do.
Right.
But also at the same time, they're like, so in spite of what you can't do, here's what you can do. And there's a plethora of things you can do.
Exactly. Okay, I'll go with that.
And sit down and to explain. That's why I said family business. You're going to have these conversations.
Yes.
With your children, with your teenagers, with your young adults. You know, I've had conversations with my mom and dad. I've had conversations with you. I've had conversations with a plethora of people that says, okay, I understand how you're feeling. Here's how I took it, and here's what you can do about it.
Did you notice that whole revolving thing you just did there? Yeah. You see, somehow we have. How can I say this? I think many of us have never been trained to know how to do and have what you call small group conversation,
or just have one-on-one conversation. Hence one-on-one.
Hence one-on-one. You know what? It's tougher to talk to people in a small group than it is to talk to people of 400,000 people if you had that kind of an audience.
Because nobody can really pay attention to you in that large group.
Well, let's put it like this. Even if they were, it wouldn't matter because you couldn't see them.
Exactly.
Straight up.
If I look you dead in your eyes and see your face, I'm afraid of what your reaction may be.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Because if you think about it, that is what the key is as to why people don't want, this is just me, to confront some of these folk because they are afraid of the reaction that they are going to get from you.
Of course. And
now, what do I mean by reaction? Kelby, sometimes you don't have to say a word. but dude, your body tells me 1,000 things.
Of course.
Your inflections, the way the fur of your eye raises up. If there's something that you don't like, or there's a little bit of a frown in your face, and guess what, Kelby, check this, man. Subliminally, that stuff affects me.
Yeah.
It affects me.
It gets to you.
It gets to me, and guess what? Whether or not you have authority over me or not, if I assume that your position of authority, I may have a fear of asking you, well, why do you feel that way?
Mm-hmm. And it's not. I feel like when you're in that type of situation, let's just say there's a authoritative figure.
Okay.
And they give you rules. So your boss.
Yes. Okay.
Your boss tells you, hey, here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
And here's the things that you can't do.
Okay.
And so you ask the question, well, okay, so here's the things that I can't do. So you want me to do this, so what are the things that I can do? But when you looked at their face, when they were telling you, it's almost like they were demanding you. You don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do this, you don't do that.
Okay.
So now you're kind of hesitant to go back to them and say, hey, I understand what you told me what I couldn't do, but what can I do?
Okay.
So I think in those types of moments, in that type of predicament, you have to be, this is a Kelbyism.
Okay.
Yes, I just coined the term. And I've said this before.
Okay.
You have to learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Okay.
Those moments, those tiny moments where you're like, I don't really think I should. That's exactly the time where you should do it.
Exactly. And you know what? I had to learn. As a matter of fact, I had to learn with a pathologist that I used to work for in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Herman would say some things, and there were just some things that I didn't quite understand. Well, let's put it like this: I understood, but I didn't understand the way she wanted me to understand.
Okay.
And you know what? It showed up. It showed up at the time when they had to do what? They had to do my evaluation.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, but wait a minute, I don't get this. When my supervisor wanted to talk with me about it, I said to her, well, I don't understand this. I said, whenever she's asked me to do something, I've never not done what she's asked me to do. And she said to me, she said, well, Bill, what is it? What do you see the issue being? I said, to be honest with you, I really don't know. Because when she's asked me, and then it hit me, I said, you know what? I think I am probably misinterpreting what she's saying. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, when she said something, I take it for granted. That everything is okay, and I just do what she says to do. But what I have not done is I have not asked her exactly what it was that she meant.
Okay.
Let me tell you how I found this out. I found this out. Dr. Herman was a brilliant woman.
Mm-hmm.
Doris Herman was her name. Okay? Brilliant pathologist.
Okay.
This lady, my friend, was so smart. Yeah, and sometimes I laugh and joke about it because my wife sometimes does things like that. She'll say things to me, and she'll say, she said, well, I need to do something, but I don't have time for that. I said, what do you mean you don't have time for it? She said, you do that. I said, wait a minute, are you trying to tell me that I'm talking about a dummy? She said, no, but that kind of stuff you understand. Can you think sometimes you can be too smart that simple things you miss?
You just don't understand.
It's almost like clutter.
Yeah.
It's like noise that's not there.
And vice versa.
All day long. And that's exactly my point. Yeah. My mom was like that too. My mom took Kelby, and I'm not very good at math. I never was, because I didn't get a good foundation in it. Regular mathematics and things like that, I can do all day. Algebra and that other stuff, I'm out of the park. Okay, that's why you hire somebody to do things.
Fractions.
Hallelujah. You let somebody
do mixed fractions and improper fractions.
My friend, my mom would say to me, she said, Reach, matter of fact, she went to school to learn how to teach the quote unquote new math of that time. Okay. All right. Now this was in the 60s, I believe it was. This is in the late 50s, early 60s. Mm-hmm. Now she took me with her. Because I said, well, why do I have sheep? Well, she said, there's this stuff that I know I can't do, and I think you might be able to do it. I said, why do you think? But it has to do with wires and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. She said, her concept I can't do that. Now, my mom's brilliant. My mother was a brilliant woman, for friend. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Guess what, Kelby? I sat in the back of the room while she was taking class. Because I did something, I didn't understand jack. Didn't understand a word they said. But guess what? The designs that the instructor gave them a problem, and they had to actually use wire. They had to use like nails, okay? And they had to make like a fish by using the wires, right? Mm-hmm. They had to calculate that stuff. And in doing so, they had to actually form a pattern so that when they after they did that and they actually wound the wire around, you could actually see the form on the outside of a fish. But it had to be done in a specific way. Cal, I didn't understand jack. But guess what? I went home and I took the nails and put them in the pattern and sat down and just did it. My mom wanted to punch me in my face. She said, I don't understand that. I said, Mom, look, I said, you know what? I don't know why. I can't read a book. I can look at, my wife would say that right now. Dude, they got other things you put together, do this, that, and the other thing. I can't read a book and do that. But I can look at it.
You can look at it
conceptually. I can look at it. First of all, I think I take all the things out. I count all the pieces, make sure that I have everything that they say that's in the box. Okay, and I look at it, and guess what? I sit down and I do it. I don't get up until it's done. You know why? Because if I get up and I go away, I lose that train of thought. Yeah. And when I lose it, I can't find it.
Yeah. It's
because you know
like
what? That's exactly it.
It's like me in a puzzle. I can't leave until
it's done. I gotta stay there until it's done. And she said to me, son, you got a gift. I said, what you know? She said, I don't know what it is, but you have a gift. And that's when it finally got to me, when my mom said to me, she said, you know what? You can do absolutely anything, because they used to get on me all the time. Mom told you, with me being the white sheep in the family, every time they said jump, my brother and sister said how high. I said, If I jump, y'all might move the table. I didn't trust anybody.
You didn't trust nobody.
But that had a lot to do with the way we were brought up. Not the way we were brought, but the era in which we were living. Yeah. Where we went to school out early in the years. We were in segregated schools. So there are a lot of things. And when we got to California, and we got, especially of all places, and the math that I was taking at the time was what? Algebra. Get what? Here's the mental thing. Here's my mental block. My instructor, or my teacher's name, Caucasian teacher, first time in my life, his name was Mr. X. A-X-E. You have any idea what that did to a black child's mind in a class, in a white school that you have never been in before? And all the stuff we had to go through to go to school, and then to run into a teacher by the name of Mr. X, and I already know that I didn't have a good math background. Dude, my brain went out to lunch. My brain was out to lunch. So how does that compare to what we're talking about? It's kind of like the same thing. You know, you're out here, Kelvin, you're out here. I know you got issues with whatever. I'm not quite sure what it is. I have not had this conversation with you.
Of course.
You see, going back to our scripture, okay? He has denied the faith. Dude, I may not even realize that I've denied the faith, because you know what? We just don't have it like that.
Of course. We're not really connected like that.
We have not had that conversation. Okay?
We're not at their level.
And I kind of see, as I'm getting younger these days, I begin to realize that there are a lot, Kelby. Now, what I've come to realize, and it really became apparent today because something happened. I don't want to go into it right now. Something happened today, just kind of really got like boing, boing, boing. There was somebody else in the family. You know, I told you my sister was doing all this stuff. Well, my friend, when I'll get off the air, I'm going to share something with you, that somebody else in our family is in our church. Oh, wait, on my mother's side.
Oh, boy. Okay.
No, on my father's side, Kelvin.
Okay.
Okay, and by the way, folks, we talk about this. May sound a little crazy, but we talk about this because of the fact that, guess what? Kelby and I have come to realize that by the by, he and I are cousins.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Okay, and the fact of the matter is that there are other folk And you remember a long time ago when I said to you that I was not sure as to why I was at the church where I am? Because remember, out of all of my family, all of my siblings, why am I at this church? Friend, I've gotten to the point where I recognize now that there is a coming together. There is a family coming together.
Exactly. Exactly.
And somebody has to deal with it. You know, when my sister first started this stuff, I told her to mind her own business. When you take this Ancestry.com stuff and take it and you know what you can do with it. I was very hard on her. I said, you know what? I don't know these people. Why do I want to get to know who they are? I'm just going there. Mm-hmm. She said, well, I told her, she said, well, you got to do this. I said, I'm not giving you my blood. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Because, listen, let me tell you where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the correction side, having been working in the prison for all these years. And I know what people do with a drop of blood, okay, and how they connect you to other things. So I'm saying to her, I said, oh, no, I'm not doing that. I still haven't made that decision. But here's the thing. But you know what's so funny? It's all being tied up around me without even my saying anything, Kelvin, because she says the leaves are popping up, whatever that means.
Okay.
You get my point?
Mm-hmm.
And the number of this and some other number, and like I said, I'll share that with you after we get off the air, matched on my father's side as a third cousin.
Oh, boy.
I said, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Pastor Thorpe, we're glad to have you here, my friend.
Yes.
We're glad to have you joining us. And also Elder Alvin Morgan down there in Bridgeton.
Oh, okay.
He's also with us. I want to make sure that we know that you are here. And listen, friends, there is stuff that we have to, 7 times removed. We're all family.
Yeah, we're all family.
We're all family. That's why we have to, and that also then, Calvin, helps us to do what? We have to recognize that we become responsible for all of those that are around us, one way or the other.
What was that? What is that quote? It's a comic, but it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend, something like that.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is, but I do remember.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it's funny that another enemy can be your friend. So that would also mean that in some way, shape, or form,
that enemy could end up being your family.
Yeah, probably your family somehow.
And you know what? And it may be the fact that, guess what? They may recognize something in you that
they
man, don't even go there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, you know how sometimes old folk will say that we are at a point where, you know what? Listen, the reality is that here we are. Mm-hmm. I don't know you, but then again, the old folks say, boy, if you don't look like Uncle John, you walk just like so-and-so. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying to myself, I don't get there. Mm. And, Brother Dan, thanks so much, my friend, for joining us. We're glad to have you. Join us each week. We're right here every Friday from 5 until 6 p.m.
Yes.
Okay? But now let's finish that thought. Because the point is, here we are, man. Here we are. Trying to make sure that we all understand one another.
That's why it's called a family.
We are all one family. When we first started this whole venture of one-on-one, it was all about understanding what family was all about on a one-on-one basis. Here we are on 34 programs down the road.
And only 20 more to go. Only 20 more to go to be a year.
A full year.
A full year.
Yeah, that's a blessing. That's a blessing, my friend. God has allowed us here, and I'm gonna say this to you, my friend. I'm so glad God has stuck. You stuck by it. I'm pleased as punch, man. I know you didn't think you could do it either.
I didn't think I would be able to last 4 weeks.
But you know what, Calvin? I believe that the times which we're living is connotating the fact that we have to do this. Especially young people like myself and older guys like you.
Of course.
We've got to sit together. We've got to have these kinds of conversations. Because the reality is that, my friend, you know what? Down the road, guess what? Man, by God's grace, I pray this does not happen. But you know what? you may end up having to take care of me, boy.
Well, I know where to put you.
Glory, hallelujah.
I know where to put you.
I'm not going to no home, so I'm just kidding.
That's what I said. I know where to put you.
Hey,
put you in
put me in my basement. Put me in my basement.
I'll put you around your equipment.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be right. And I just want to say this. You know, again, we want to keep this right before us. Mm-hmm. Because you see, reaching out for that individual, that person that I may not even know. But again, Kelvin, if I don't know it, somebody, here's the thing. My question to you is this. How do I find out?
How do you find out? If
there is someone that is hurting, someone who needs help, someone who wants to pull things together, how do I have that happen?
Same thing that we're doing here. It's simple. You know, you pick up a phone and call somebody. Call the. You know what? Here's what I found out that well, my new family.
Okay, I get you. Family. Okay.
There are things that I'm getting used to them.
Right.
There are things that, and they laugh at me. They're like, "Oh yeah, you'll get used to the new family. You'll get used to it." But it's funny how the more I spend time with them, the more I start, I don't want to say investigating.
Right.
But it's almost like the more I start asking questions. It's almost like, okay, well, how is this person with that person? How did they connect with them? How did that? So I'm asking family questions.
Right. Exactly.
So nothing, deep. But it's almost like I'm putting myself out there and putting myself on Front Street and saying, okay, what's going on? Who's with who? Okay, how is he related to this person? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it takes that person, I don't want to say the person that's not afraid. Because in anything, you're not going to say, how many times have I gotten up and speak and my heart is doubly pounding?
All the time. I get
so
that. I get that.
I'm not going to say it doesn't take a brave person. I'm going to say it takes a courageous person.
Yes,
It takes a person that's not afraid to put themselves out there.
Right.
So with me, I'm not afraid to put myself out there. What you see is what you get.
Right. I get it.
That's basically it. So once you see me once, I guarantee you the next time you see me, I'm gonna act the same way that you saw me when you first
Let me say this here now. I've known you ever since you were a little boy.
Probably about 6, 5. 4,
okay. And you're what? You're what now?
23 going on 24.
Going on 24. Have I changed?
No, you've still been a crazy old man ever since 6 years old.
Yes, but at the same time, there are things you've learned over time.
Of course.
You see, and that's what's important. And
I'm starting to get a headache now.
And I like what I also like what you say that you have to kind of put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. Now you know what? There are a lot of people who can't do that, Kelby. Mm-hmm. There's some folk who don't know. See, because they say, "Well, I just put my business into it." The problem is, what kind of business?
It doesn't have to be your personal business.
And that's just what I was about to say. I don't just go into all the little intrinsic things that are happening with me. No, but the reality is that, hey guys, if there is something going on with me, okay, that I know I need to share with you in order to help you grow, then sometimes I've got to do what? I've got to expose myself. Now, that's stepping out on faith.
Yeah, that's more like you're asking. It's almost like help me, help you, help me.
Amen.
Yeah,
you're absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely correct, because the reality is, if you don't do that, you will never ever get there.
Of course,
because you must remember one thing. People don't see you the way you see you.
Of course. Of course.
Look, Kevin, I know I'm hot and I got it going on like that. Until my wife said,
when you start hearing,
yeah, okay. But then again, when that sometimes happens, you know what happens? Is that now, because of that false who I am, people start cutting into, then I'll lose my what?
Yeah, you lose your...
I get deflated.
Yeah, but sometimes you know, and I love the fact that my wife does this. And I asked her this question last night. I said, baby, am I self-centered? And she said, no, you're not self-centered. You have a whole lot of confidence in yourself. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people can misinterpret that for being sometimes arrogant and cocky. And so she said, I'm proud of you now for not, trying to, for improving on it. Mm-hmm. You're not really trying to bloviate about yourself and just trying to stay in the background. I said, well, that's what I've been trying to do. But sometimes you need those people. I said, I'm glad you're around me because sometimes I need that person like, hey.
Kelby, that lady that walked in the door just now?
Yeah.
Dude, she keeps the pen ready for me.
So does mine. Just ready.
My wife has said to me sometimes, and sometimes I want to go, oh, good, did I say that? But it's all right. I don't realize it.
You don't.
When you're in the moment, you don't realize.
You don't realize what you're doing.
And she'll say, did you hear what you said? I said, what are you talking about? I had no idea.
Oh, I would get the.
I have no idea. Had no clue.
I get the taps. I get. Oh, babe, dial it back.
Yeah.
Dial it back.
I'll
be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, my wife has used that term that you use too. Cocky.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but I'm not cocky. She said, well, you won't realize it, but that's just you. And you know what I think that comes from? Again, it comes from way back yonder. Okay. When the things were happening and we had to do and we had to improve to be accepted.
Yes.
You get my point?
When we weren't accepted in a certain group, we bloviated about ourselves. We boasted ourselves up and we put ourselves in a position to where you could accept us. And then once we got accepted, we just took that level and just added another one.
And then you had those folk who had that knives. You got whether to try to cut it off. I have been in those positions so many times. And can I be honest with you, dude? I got to the point where I just felt like, what am I doing? But then again, my point is, I don't even know what. I don't even know I'm doing it, Kelvin. That is what's so crazy. I have no clue.
Don't realize it.
I don't realize it because you know what? My desire is above all that everyone be more. Listen, that everyone be more accepted than I am. I want, like I've always said, I want you to do what? Be better than I have always been.
Yeah.
You ask me a question, I'm giving it to you, and I'm gonna pump you. Why? Because you need. Hey, I'm not going anywhere, but you need to. Because everything's gonna be coming at you that didn't come at me.
There's already things coming at me.
You get my point? Yeah. And when that happens, you've got to have enough here, okay, to keep your enough bucket full. And my point,
at least something that could
exactly. And if not that, you at least know you can come back to me and say, Uncle Bill, look, this is what's going on. What do you think I should do about this?
Or if I don't understand something, be like, Uncle Bill, I don't understand it.
And guess what? And you know you won't get it from me one way or the other, whether you like it or not. But here's the thing. Before I give you an answer, I'm not gonna answer you with a knife. First of all, I want to make sure that my foundation is right.
Your basis.
My basis, even for my answer. You see, because I can be sometimes so much behind you that I can be behind you at a deficit because I'm looking at what I went through, and I don't want you to go through the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I can do that, but at the same time, I've also got to go back and say, "Now wait." That's it. And then, as I'm saying this to you, I can say to you, "But Kelby, let's go back and let me look at this. Let's not let me. Let's look at this." Now, I'm going to share with you how I handle this. Let's look at what this says, because guess what? As this was written, there was nothing new under the sun.
So everything's in there.
Everything from sex to shinola is all in here.
Is it? Drinking, alcohol,
it's all that prostitution, the whole 9 yards.
You know, you can get a lot of drama stories out of the Bible.
Brother,
some of the best stories actually come from the Bible.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I had this grand idea.
Yes.
That we should take the you know how it's what is that show on TV1? The unsung black people,
yes,
the ones that like kind of get left in the back end.
Okay.
Go back in the Bible and let's start like videoing or doing plays or skits of the stories that you don't read, the stories that you don't see, the stories that we already know about Noah, we already know about Moses and David and Solomon. We know about all these different kings and stuff like that. But maybe you don't know about Amnon and Absalom and Tamar. The betrayal within the household. You don't really know about their stories, about Shem, Ham, and their different families and those types of stories.
And by the way, this is going way back.
Of course.
This is going
way back.
Okay? But you see, then here's the key. We have a family now. Get me? We have a family, and in the family, because of how we have been jaded color-wise, we don't recognize that back yonder, so to speak, there may not have been. Well, listen. In the original of it there was only one race of people.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, whether people want to accept this or not,
human.
We were just human back in up until the flood. If you accept the premise that there was a flood, because there may be people who may be listening, who may be watching, and who don't accept the whole idea that there was a flood. And if it was only a part.
Ramadan?
Yes, today is the beginning of Ramadan.
Okay.
Okay.
So just for your people, if you don't believe it.
Exactly. And we get that, and it's okay. As a matter of fact, the reason why I'm glad you brought that, because my sister, evidently, there are folk who are in the family who are Muslims.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have to learn to accept that fact. With that being the case, we are still family. You can't cut it out.
Yeah,
because it's blood.
You can't exclude them. You can't not invite them to the party. And matter of fact, invite them
you
to the party.
invite everybody.
Yeah.
You invite everyone to the party. Because when you go back and you look at it through history, again, now, when you come down up until the flood, as you accept the book,
if you look,
there's one group. After the flood, then we are all the descendants of who? Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Yeah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
That's it. And we are the explosion. You see, of the knowing of those brothers and sisters of the time.
Boy, did we explode!
Oh, yeah, but see, that's what we were supposed to do, because we were created to do what? To multiply.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many different
multiply and then do it, and then to occupy until the return.
Of course.
Okay. Now again. Don't trust us. Go back and check it out for yourself. That's all I'm saying. Go back and check it for yourself, because the reality is that, guess what, guys? It's not going to change.
It's not.
It's not going to change. And it is my responsibility to share with Kelby. Kelby and I we've got to come together. We've got to understand. You do know that back someone sort of followed us and picked up on us, and we found out that by a little strand, a little dip or something, that Kelby and I end up being also in the same family.
Yeah. By someone in my family?
Coming from his side.
That's why I was like, wait, what? Wait, really?
The individual saw us on the air and said, Kelby, how you know Bill?
Well, he's in my church.
He's in my church. He said, but wait a minute. But we're related. And Kelby said, Uncle Bill. I said, you better leave me alone. And then when we got to find out, folk, it's just downright deep is what it is. It's deep.
It's cool.
That is why
cool.
When we read this, I'm going to read it again. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. And what is the faith? See, you know what? We think just having faith is just driving down the street. This is talking about a very, very specific faith. The faith in Yeshua.
Yeah, the spiritual faith.
That stuff that is above this physical touching. That's what we're talking about here.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And our Creator is going to hold us responsible, folk. Going to hold us responsible for that part of the family that we have not gone after and shared the information with. That's just true.
It's going to be on your hands.
You know what? It's not going to be on my hands, because you know what? I'm crazy enough to just tell it like it is.
Oh, that's true.
That's just the way it all.
That's true.
I don't know any other way to do it. Folks, it all what it is, y'all. What can I tell you? And I'm just grateful that we're having the opportunity to even share this. And you know what? Look, time has snuck away. I just scrounged out of here.
Exactly.
And just blown us up. Well,
that's what happens when you have a good conversation.
Well, that's true. And by the way, we just pray, folk, that you understood it all. It was just kind of like family we're just having a conversation.
It's just a family talk.
Just a family talk. And when we deal with family business, that's just the way it is. Because you know what? somebody over here may be doing something that's where they're acting up, and I gotta guess what? I have to pull his coattail.
You gotta drag him down a little bit.
Gotta bring him in because there's a reality. Guess what? It ain't working, man, and you gotta do so and so in order for it to happen.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking at. You know what? I can't believe he's an old married man right now.
Oh man, a lot of people won't.
That's
a lot
all
of
right.
people don't believe that.
That's okay. That's okay, Kel. But you know what?
Okay.
Look, I just want you to do one thing. I want you. I'm going to ask that you continue to pray for me as I do for you and all of our family.
Oh,
because it's getting
Lord
bigger and bigger and bigger. and when the time comes for the day when Michael stands up, I would that everybody that is a part of our family is a part of us when that time comes.
All right.
All right?
I'm going to pray that you... See, here's one thing. See, here's what I used to think. Here's what me and my older brother used to think. We used to think that, well, I'm going to say one thing that I used to think, then one thing that me and my older brother used to think. I used to think that there was only going to be allowed 144,000
right.
in heaven.
Right.
I said, obviously, God wasn't planning on taking 1 billion people because the only people that's going to be up there is my grandmother.
Yeah.
So she going to be numero uno in the front line.
Oh, Jesus.
We going to be way in the back. We don't make the cut.
Right.
And then what we thought was, you know what, that's crazy. It's almost like, when we pray for somebody to be in heaven, and we keep praying for him, praying for him, praying for him. And then the funny thing about it is, it's almost like we thought that at some point in time, when you die, it's almost like we applied it to Greek mythology.
Right.
Either you go into what is it called? Limbo.
Right. Okay.
Either you're there,
Nirvana, all those other places. Right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Either you're in heaven or you go straight down.
Right. Okay.
So,
I get it.
So that's what we used to think. But it's funny how, even in the Bible, it says the dead doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But it's funny how you really don't understand what it takes to have a conversation, a deep conversation within the Bible, unless you have a one-on-one conversation.
Amen. I agree.
And
with
then,
that.
so me and my brother have had one-on-one conversations within, our own personal lives.
Right.
And then I've had one-on-one conversations with you. I've had one-on-one conversations with a whole plethora of people, and each level of person has a different standpoint on something.
Sure.
So I could ask the same question to 5 different people, and they will put me on 5 different levels from 5 different viewpoints.
Right.
But yet, if I take all 5 different viewpoints and then apply my own viewpoint to it, I have now gained knowledge. That's why we say kuah. I just added another level.
Yes. Amen.
So another letter, which is knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and acceptance.
Okay. I'll go with that.
So now, and I'm wrapping this up. Family business. When we kind of wrap it up, what we're saying is, it's time to start having these conversations in these last days.
Yes.
And in these last days, you might have to sit your children down and say, "Hey, look.
Jesus, don't you?
I know that I may not understand what you're going through.
Right.
And I understand that I don't go with you to school. I'm not you.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Parents, I need for you to accept that you have not been where your children have been. You've
Hallelujah.
been at the age.
Amen.
But you have not been at this stage.
Yes.
You have not been in this present time.
Yes.
So what I will say is,
yes,
in order for our families to flourish the way God wants our families to flourish, we have to incorporate God into the conversations.
Right.
But also, we need to have these conversations. Those conversations that make you feel uncomfortable.
Yes, Lord.
So that means even youth. That means you might have to reveal yourself a little bit.
Amen. Amen.
Open yourself up a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
But then, when you find that when you open yourself up, your parents open themselves up too.
Amen. I agree with that.
That's why I say that I love my parents.
Yes.
I really do. And I've opened up, to them time and time again, and they've opened up to me. My mom has opened up to me. My dad has opened up to me. And so our relationship has gotten to a level to where
good. Amen.
We might be uncomfortable with some things,
yes,
but we're not afraid to have that uncomfortableness.
And that's so important, you know. And I'm glad you just kind of wrapped it up, but not completely wrapped up. But in your closing remark, talked about the scenario with the school and the kids and those kinds of things. Because I'm telling you something, my friend.
You
again,
have no clue.
Again today. Oh, another one of those times.
Uncle Bill's a substitute teacher.
Oh, Lord Jesus, folks! Some of the things, some of the stuff, even that just today that I saw, gives me the willies. Gives me the willies. Folk, listen, pray for me as I go every day doing my best. And by the way, we want to say to Dr. David Parrott that was a part of us and Eleanor Shepherd, we're so grateful to have had you join us, and you too. All the folks
that was looking, clicking in, clicking out, doesn't matter. Love y'all all the same.
Because we know you're going to go back and take a look at this home and say, what do those crazy people say? And again, for those who are listening to us online, again, folk, bear in mind, we're doing this triple cast right now. Kelvin is on this page. I'm on my page, and we're also doing something very, very hip on free conference call hd.com. And here is the number. So if you want to write this down, so the next week, next Friday, you can also call in.
I'll write it down.
Okay, you can call in. Write it down. Here again is the number with your pen and your paper. Listen, guys, here we go. Again, 712. That's 712. And by the way, you can call in on the phone. Okay, there's all kinds of ways to do this, but
you can go if you have a pinger. You can even text in if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
We can take text too.
712-770-4160. Again, that number, 712-770-4162. And the code is 240-738-POUND. Again, that's 240-738-POUND. And guess what? You will be able to join us right here next Friday evening and every Friday evening after that, Lord willing. And we'll be able to say, thank you for joining us right here on One on One. God bless you, and we'll see you again next Friday.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.